It is March 13, 2023. And if you can believe it, it's a Book of Mondays once again. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like shit. No idea how long the stream's gonna be. Not that the Book of Monday streams are ever super long, usually around like 2 or 3 hours. Tonight might be a little shorter than usual, but it's Monday. We're nearing the end, so we're gonna power through it. Haven't heard of this game? Then consider yourself lucky, or I guess unlucky, because now you've heard of it. And so the curse of knowledge has been passed on to you. What's up, everybody? Hey, Rachel. Love you. Ziggy's causing delays, it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, he's demon mode. He's just fucking with everything and anything and everything. So, you know, that's how that goes. Hey, Nora. Hey, Gaudius. First time you got here on time. Thank you, Discord. Hey, exclamation point Discord. You want to join the channel Discord and know whenever I'm going live and all that kind of stuff? It's the best way to know. What's up, Pythonicus? Hope you're doing well tonight. Monday again rears its ugly head, yeah. Hey, Cranial. Hope you're doing well, Cranial. It's a great emote, by the way. Hey, Legate. Good evening. Hey, Hempo. Can't stick around for long. Wanted to wish you a good stream. Oh, it's Monday. These are never good streams. Someday, very soon, Mondays might be good streams again. Because we're almost done with this. Hey, Alucard. Hey, Palette Tiger. First Book of Mondays. Hi, everyone. Hi, Nub. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. Caught up on the birthday stream VOD. So great. Nice. Hope it was enjoyable. It definitely didn't go quite as planned, but definitely still had a good time celebrating my 35th earlier this year. It doesn't feel like the birthday streams were that long ago, and that was in January, and it's already halfway through March. Hey, Cat Punch. How many levels we got left? Let's see where we left off. I think, yeah, 459. We're on 459 out of 500. So we're getting there. We are almost done with all 500 zones of this game. And yeah, for Eyes Restrict and anybody else who maybe has never seen this or is less familiar with what this is Silent Hill Book of Memories. Yes, this is a real game. This is not like a fan-made game or something like that. This is the last officially released, fully released Silent Hill game that was not a canceled playable teaser or a pachinko game.
What was that? Who in the hell was that?
Cat Punch, thank you for the bits. Thank you. But yeah, This is Silent Hill Book of Memories. It is a procedurally generated dungeon crawler RPG with Silent Hill monsters. And there are 500 procedurally generated zones. There's basically no footage or information or anything like that for all 500 zones out there. So I've been slowly working towards streaming and recording and archiving a playthrough that goes through all 500 zones. But yeah, it's also legitimately one of the worst games I have ever played. Not just one of the worst like Silent Hill games I've ever played, or one of the worst horror games or dungeon crawlers. In general, video games as a whole that I have been playing for about 33 years of my life, 34 years of my life, I've been playing video games. This is one of the worst I've ever played. But the Silent Hill streamer, fan, completionist in me is determined to do all of it, all 500 zones. We're almost there. You have the game, just need to find a Vita and figure out how to capture. I'm playing through them all, trying to avoid emulators. Vita emulators are not very good right now, so emulation is not really a great option. Yo, Hirimi, thank you so much for the resub, man. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Time for another Monday. But yeah, emulation for Vita is not a great option, just because Vita emulators kind of still suck at the moment. I'm sure they'll get better over time. Most emulation does, but yeah. And capturing directly from a Vita is also not great. You either need to mod a video output onto the Vita hardware, which is very difficult and expensive thing to do or have done. So what I do is I am playing on a PSTV. A PSTV is, for those who are unaware of what that is basically a Vita that is not handheld. Instead of having a portable device that you take around with you and it's got a screen and controls and everything built in, the PSTV is basically just the innards of a Vita that you hook up to a TV. You plug in a controller. I'm using a PS4 controller because it has the touchpad, so you can still use the screen touch functions that most Vita games use. And yeah, it's much easier to play and capture. Book of Memories does not work with the PSTV by default. You do have to software mod the PSTV to make it work. But it's not too difficult to do, and it's definitely a lot easier than setting up an actual Vita to capture. And I'm already dead. I picked the wrong spot in that room to stop and try and break the orb, because apparently there was a trap underneath me, and the traps are just insta-kills when you're 460 zones deep. Yeah. Did the Windows USB connection sound come from you? No, I don't think so. It's all you. The game looks like it's got the aesthetic. By the aesthetic, what exactly do you mean? Because I've played tens of thousands of hours of all of the Silent Hill series. And, I don't know. This is not what I think of when I think Silent Hill aesthetic. Of a Western Silent Hill, maybe? Maybe a bit closer, yeah, to like Homecoming or something like that. Some of the later Western games. Hey, there's Howard.
Plenty of it. I think I've got just the thing. Enjoy it now. Something I can take off your hands?
I don't know if I have anything to sell. Oh, I do. I have a dog tag.
Don't spend it all. You'll be back.
Just gotta kill the raw shock, otherwise it's gonna keep following. Hello? Can I leave? Thank you. Hey, Kruo. Hope you're doing well tonight. If you smell burning, I flip the heat on. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks for the heads up, though. My sinuses, like, I don't know if it's just seasonal stuff or what's going on, but yeah, I kind of feel like shit today. I've had a really nasty headache the last few days. And my sinus pressure and stuff is all fucked up. So I've been having trouble like smelling things. And it's weird because usually when I have sinuses fucked up, I just can't really smell much of anything. But now it's like I can still kind of smell, but stuff just smells weird. Like Rachel had cooked ramen earlier and I went out there and it smelled like kettle corn. It smelled like sugary popcorn to me. Like I might be having a stroke. The heater in March? Inconceivable. Yeah. It's been in the 80s. It's been relatively warm this past week. And then we get like a bit of rain. And now we have a freeze warning for the first half of this week. How many zones remaining? 41, including this one. condolences for your sanity. I mean, we've played through a whole lot of fucking Book of Mondays. A lot of Book of Memories. But we are almost done with it at the very least. Just for comparison, I was going through... Here, hang on, let me double check. I was going through and fixing up some things on like my Twitch panels, and one of the things that I had to do was rearrange some of the videos in my VOD collections. On Twitch, collections are basically like YouTube playlists where you can make just a big playlist of all of your highlighted content, and I highlight and save pretty much all like my story playthroughs, all the Book of Memories stuff. So just for comparison, my Silent Hill story playthrough playlist, my collection here on Twitch, which has almost all of my Silent Hill story playthroughs from 2017 and onward, with the exception of like a handful of things. That story playthrough playlist is 542 hours and 27 minutes long. 542 hours of Silent Hill story playthroughs from 2017 to now. And that's not even all of it. That's just most of it. Book of Mondays by itself is a separate collection, not included in that playlist of story playthroughs. Book of Mondays by itself is 159 hours long. So it's going to be over 200 hours as of this stream. So almost half the time of all of my story playthroughs since 2017 has been put into just Book of Memories. Oh, my controller is freaking out. That's always fun. That's always fun. I love when the controller just randomly stops reading inputs. Oh my god, tremors. Dude, fuck all of you, fuck everything. Fine. Flamethrower. Tom and the gang better apologize after you finish. I don't think that's gonna happen. They're aware. They know my channel, and they know what I've been working on with this. And both of them have just kind of been like, you're almost there, keep going. I say both of them, I mean Tom Hewlett and Adam Tierney. But yeah, I don't think an apology is in the cards.
There's plenty of it.
I mean, it's not like they made me do this.
Thank you kindly.
If I didn't stream and, you know, stuff like that, I would have played this game for maybe like an hour and then been like, wow, this really sucks. And then not play it. But I'm a Silent Hill streamer, content creator, guy, person thing. Who wants to be, you know, the very best, like no one ever was. And have videos and coverage of every single Silent Hill game as complete and thorough as possible. And this is one of the last ones that I have, like, stuff left to do. Until new games come out. Which hopefully is very soon. Hopefully we start getting some new Silent Hill stuff. We're a fourth of the way through this year. So with any luck, maybe in a few more months. This year we're supposed, the only thing we know for sure we're going to get this year is Silent Hill Ascension, and Ascension is just going to be like, it's going to basically be a TV series. So I don't even know if it'll be something that I can stream on Twitch. Because it's not a game, you know. Silent Hill Ascension is not like a video game. It's an interactive streaming series. So other than Ascension, hopefully we get either Silent Hill 2 Remake. I mean, realistically, Remake is probably the only thing we can hope for this year. I would be absolutely shocked if Townfall or F or anything else releases this year. And even Remake is a bit of a stretch. Oh, I got stuck. I'm dead. I got stuck on the fucking boss model just trying to run around it. And that's instant death, because then I'm just going to get killed by the beam. Fucking blood beam. After this, can we safely divide the Nub's Twitch career as pre-Book of Memories and post-Book of Memories? Sure. You can break down my Twitch career in quite a few ways. 2011's when I made this account. And what would have been my first stream. So like 2011 to 2014, that was the before times when I didn't really focus on streaming Silent Hill. I streamed a bunch of different stuff, and I only had, you know, 10 followers, and it was like 10 people who I know in real life, like real life friends and stuff like that. So that was like 2011 to 2014. Oh, I'm dead. Stun locked. Stupid shit. Gotta love just making a single mistake and like having heals doesn't even matter because you're just gonna get stun locked and killed in 1 to 2 hits anyway. But yeah, 2011 to 2014, I was just streaming random stuff to basically nobody. 2015, January 2015 is when I started speedrunning Silent Hill 2 and started focusing on Silent Hill stuff on my channel. That's when I started building up an audience and viewers and stuff, and streaming more regularly. But that was still before Book of Memories. So 2015 through 2017, when I got partnered in 2017, that would be before pre-BOM, before Book of Memories. And then after I got partnered in 2017 was when I bought the PSTV and Book of Memories and everything like that. And this game has just kind of been there. It's been a blight on my channel since then. But we're almost done. And that's when it all went downhill. Yeah, exactly. Because I've basically been working on this a little at a time. Because I didn't start off doing Book of Mondays. We just did like a first playthrough. I did a story playthrough. And then eventually one time I did a subathon. And that subathon is what kind of kicked off Book of Mondays. Or eventually led into Book of Mondays. Piracle, thank you so much for the resub. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. The viewers chose this. Oh yeah, I did this for quite a few years there. And eventually, after many Mondays, I got to a point where I was like, I really hate this game and I don't want to play it anymore. So I kind of gave up on doing all 500 zones. And then I did another subathon, September of 2021, year before last. And as one of the subscriber goals, I was like, if we get to 500 subs, I'll bring back Book of Mondays. And we hit the goal. We hit the subscriber goal. And I'm dead. It didn't even charge up. It just shot instantly the moment I walked. Oh my god, I hate this fucking boss. I hate this fucking game. But yeah, I had given up on Book of Mondays for a good long while there. And then we did the subathon, and we hit the goal to bring it back. So I've been working on it again. But now we're actually almost done with it. Once I hit 500, I'm done with this game. We're never playing Book of Memories ever again. Project Zomboid? I have not. Cruel. I've heard of it. Hell, I think I have it. But no, I've never played it. Oh, cool. It hit the thing, but it didn't count. I love when that happens. I love when we get the AI to cooperate. And it just doesn't even count for a hit. Do you think this boss has enough phases? Imagine any of the new Silent Hill games are remotely like this one. No telling. No telling. We don't have any details on any of the new projects. Except for like Silent Hill 2 Remake and a little bit of Ascension. But like Silent Hill F and Silent Hill Townfall, they could literally be anything. Townfall could wind up being a direct sequel to Book of Memories, for all I know. I doubt it. But you never know. Silent Hill F might be about a girl in Japan who gets a book of memories. Who knows? I don't have enough time to get to it. There we go. Please just come over here. Please just come over here and get slapped. God, dude. And if I'm anywhere fucking near it when it happens, it's just a one-shot death. There's no way to damage the boss on, like, with my weapons for that phase, by the way. I had, like, there are 6 arms protruding off of the boss, and you'd need to get all 6 arms to smack one of the little fucking creatures that it spawns. So you're relying on the boss AI to actually fucking swing at at you or them. You're relying on the little enemy AI to actually follow you or wander up anywhere near the fucking boss to get hit in the first place. And if the boss hits you directly, if the little things hit you directly, if they explode next to you, or if the boss smashes them next to you, you just die. You're just dead. And this is still not even what I would consider the worst boss in the game. I would still rather deal with Blood Guardian than Water Guardian. I think Water is the worst. Okay, there's phase 1. What if Howard appears in Silent Hill F and no one questions it? Someone will question it. If anything from any, like, existing Silent Hill games gets used for the new games, there will always be someone to question it. Thing. There's a boss worse than this. Haven't watched Book of Mondays in a while, so forgot a lot of the bosses. Yep. Water Guardian, where it's basically just like a big pool table, big billiard table, where there's all these pipes, all these holes, where hands will pop out that can hit you. And then eventually there is a hand that will just spawn up out of the water, like the arena is in a big pool of water. So eventually you'll have this hand that will just come out of the water and chase you. And you have to go through these long fucking phases of avoiding the hands until the boss itself actually shows up. And then you have like 8 seconds to do as much damage to the actual boss as you can. Until it goes back underwater, and then you gotta deal with the fucking hands all over. So yeah, Water Guardian, definitely one of the most annoying. And it's very similar to this fight where, like, the hands basically kill you in 2 shots. You know, the boss, if it hits you with any of its attacks, it's basically a 1-shot. So it's just such a long, drawn-out fight where you have almost no opportunity to actually fight the boss. And any mistake makes you redo it. And then all the other bosses are, like, inconsequential. Wood Guardian, it summons things that can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but mostly you can damage it and avoid stuff pretty easily and then just kill it. Fire Guardian, you basically just run around it in a circle and keep attacking it and it never hits you. Earth Guardian can be a bit annoying because it has phases where it can't be hit, and it just throws boulders at you, and any of those boulders, if it hits you, it's basically a one-shot. It also just has really, really unforgiving hitboxes on a lot of its attacks. So there will be stuff that looks like it clearly missed, but it'll still hit you and one-shot you. But yeah. I would say, and then Steel Guardian, which is supposed to be the final boss and is one of the easiest. Literally just sit there and damage it. It summons like enemies and swords and other shit, but for the most part it doesn't matter. You just sit there and attack the main thing and it dies. So is fire or steel the easiest? Probably fire. They're both pretty easy. I would say Water Guardian is the worst. Blood Guardian is the second worst. Earth Guardian is the third. Light Guardian would probably be the fourth worst. Again, you just sort of damage it. Attack the monster until it dies. The only real problematic thing with Light Guardian is sometimes it will rush and corner you, and if it corners you in the arena, you basically just get stun locked. You get knocked down, you stand up, and it immediately hits you and you die. Cool. Stabbed in the face by Pyramid Head. Everything just one-shots. Everything kills you in one hit the game. So yeah, Light Guardian, and then Steel Guardian. Sometimes the way that it spawns enemies and swords, it can be kind of annoying, but they're easy enough to kill or avoid. And then the boss itself is not super threatening. And then Fire Guardian, who shoots fire out of his hands and then jumps. And none of those things is particularly dangerous. You literally just walk in a circle. Pyramid Head, stop summoning shit and just die. Thank you. Hey, Star Garden. I'm not doing great. Kind of feel like shit. And I'm playing a game that I really hate, while also not feeling very well. So, I've been better. What about Earth and Wood? Sorry if I just missed it. Yeah, maybe I forgot. Water is the worst, followed by Blood, followed by Earth. Followed by Steel, followed by Wood, and then Fire is the easiest. Or, not Fire. Yeah, Fire. Hey, Monchi. Hope you're doing well tonight. Sorry, I'm sure you don't want to go digging through your memory over this game. I mean, it's what I'm here to do. I could just sit here in silence. I could just sit here in silence and painstakingly grind through the zones. But I don't mind having a conversation, ranking the bosses from least to most bullshit. Probably a little more entertaining for the viewers compared to me just sitting here and quietly suffering. Two more orbs. Hey, what's up, Ducky? Hope you're doing well tonight, man. I bet this game is worse than the worst Silent Hill fan game out there. The worst Silent Hill fan game out there that I've played is probably Silent Hill The Gallows? Is that what it was called? That's the one that ripped the Downpour. Like, you're literally just Murphy Pendleton. There's weeping bats. And I mean, even with that, it's at least mildly impressive that they ripped all these Downpour assets and put them in a working PC game. Like, it's terrible. But, you know, it's the efforts of one person. And considering Downpour never got a PC release, ripping those assets and making them work on like a PC game, you know, as a fan-made thing, is still at least like technically impressive, even if the game itself is shit. So even though, like, I don't know, yeah, this is still pretty fucking bad. I would still consider this worse. Gallows at least has, you know, the fact that it was made by one person and they figured out how to rip assets from a console game and get them working on PC. So, this is not impressive. Even for like a Vita game, like the Vita is a pretty impressive little piece of hardware. Like the graphics and gameplay of a lot of Vita games is really good. Like, it's pretty comparable to a lot of PS3 and 360 era stuff in a handheld. So you can, like, there's some really good and impressive Vita games. This is not one of them. This looks like a cell phone game from like 2010, 2009. And even that is... There are legitimately cell phone games that are better than this. So, even that I feel is not fair. And it's even more... you know what? I'll say what is impressive about this game. It's impressive that it's as bad as it is. When you look at the people who made it. Because this is made by WayForward. This is made by the same people who made like the Shantae games, River City Girls, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Like, they've made more games that I enjoy than otherwise. Like, I like most of the stuff that WayForward has made. This is easily the worst game they've ever made. Like, it feels like nobody gave a shit. So the fact that they had some, you know, a good team, like
Take your time. There's plenty.
decent game devs working on this, and
I've
it
got just the
turned out like this.
Enjoy it now. Until
It's
next
impressive.
time.
It's impressive that this is as bad as it is. Don't know how else I can put that. Played better games by people still learning JavaScript? Same. I've legitimately played RPGs and dungeon crawlers in Flash, like on fucking Newgrounds back in the day, where it's somebody's like second or third Flash game they've ever made, and you know, it's better than this. I've brought up several times on many Mondays playing this that for being a procedurally generated dungeon crawler on PlayStation 1 back in like 1998, there was a fighting game on the PlayStation 1 called Ehrgeiz. EHRGEIZ. And it's a fighting game that has, like, most people know it as a 3D fighter that has like Final Fantasy VII characters in it. God bless the ring. Ehrgeiz, God bless the ring. So it's a 3D fighter with Final Fantasy VII characters in it. You can play as Cloud, Tifa, Sephiroth. And it's a pretty good fighting game. Like, it's pretty awesome for what it is. And as like a separate little mini game, there's a dungeon adventure included on Ehrgeiz. It's got like some mini games. So there's like little races, like, you know, sprint to get the flag on the beach and stuff like that. And yeah, Forsaken Dungeon is what it's called. So the dungeon mode on Ehrgeiz, this PlayStation 1 game from 1998 that was like an afterthought, not even the main game. Where are you? Where are you, you fucking butcher? Dude, where... Is he invisible? But yeah, that dungeon crawler, that procedurally generated dungeon crawler, that was like a secondary thing. For a PlayStation 1 game is infinitely better than this game. And they're very similar. They're very, very similar in the way that they're laid out and the way that stuff works. Which is why I bring that up as a comparison a lot of times, because there's a lot of roguelikes and procedurally generated like dungeon crawler RPGs out there. But they all are fairly different. Like I feel like stuff like Hades or Binding of Isaac and those kind of things, they're pretty distinct and different from other roguelike procedurally generated dungeon crawler type games. So I don't feel like those are necessarily a fair comparison to this game. But Forsaken Dungeon in Ehrgeiz is pretty damn close. It's pretty fucking close to this game. And I feel like it's a pretty fair comparison. And it's flat out better. Everything that this game tries to do, Forsaken Dungeon did better in 1998. Am I going to play it before 500? Probably not before 500, but at some point I definitely want to stream Forsaken Dungeon in Ehrgeiz. At some point I would love to stream it just because it's a fun game, and I would love to go through and play it again. I actually was playing it last year when Rachel and I were moving. We had about a month where we sold the old house and we're looking for the new house. And we didn't really have, like, all of our stuff was packed up. So I basically just had like what I could play on my cell phone. So I installed DuckStation on my phone and was playing a whole bunch of Ehrgeiz. I was playing a whole bunch of Forsaken Dungeon. And I was having so much fun with it. It's such a good dungeon crawler. Boy, this fucking sucks. Everything's healthy, so it all has a shit ton of HP and defense. There we go, damage glitch. That's exactly what I needed. And then it didn't matter, because I pushed the fucker onto an invincibility trap. And now I can't harm it. Dude, stop. Creep. Creep, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Nyantucky. Nyantucky, enjoy the sub. Enjoy the emotes. Courtesy of Creep. Thank you, Creep. Thank you, thank you. Want to get a PS2 emulator for your phone? I haven't messed around with that as much. So I don't know what a good option would be. But as far as PS1 emulation goes, like DuckStation works really damn good. Like, even just having it running on a cell phone, DuckStation is amazing. Did the devs ever mention why Book of Memories has 500 zones? No. Not really. I don't even know what kind of question that would be. Like, they thought people would enjoy this game enough? I guess. I don't know. Why do Zelda games, like classic Zelda games, typically have 8 dungeons? Why not 10 or 6 or any other number? Why does this have 500 instead of 100 or 20 or 1,000? I don't know. That's kind of a weird question, you know what I mean?
What is happening to me? Like someone else is in control of my life.
Channeling stone. At least it's something I can sell. And this is probably Howard. No, it's not. So he's going to be in the right, in the bottom right. Mission complete. Do I want to just leave? No, I need fucking wrenches. I need wrenches, so we gotta go all the way back around to where Howard is. Let's see what Valtiel gives us. Maybe we can sell it. A Sword of Obedience. It's the Sword of Obedience from Silent Hill 4. You know, that sword that explicitly says it is not a weapon. It can't be used as a weapon. It is literally just a ritual item used for pinning ghosts and not to be used as an actual sword. Well, here it is, being used as an actual sword.
Take your time.
Guess none of the guys at Way Forward really paid that much attention to Silent Hill 4.
I can buy it for a decent price.
Channeling stones are only 500? Man. Garbage.
All exchanges are fine. You'll be back. Looking for anything specific? I think I've got just the thing. I do believe you're safe. See you
What
again.
needs repairs? Okay, that's all fine.
Step right up. We've got just about
Hey,
everything.
Dogfather.
I think I've got
Hope you're
just
doing
the
well.
thing. Now don't you waste that. See you again.
accidentally hitting my foot against a table at 2 a.m. is a more pleasant experience than this game. I mean, we'll be realistic, right? Even this game doesn't cause me physical harm. So usually, you know, not as bad as like a physical injury. But it is such a horrible game. And I'm sure there's some of you who maybe haven't seen this before or haven't seen it as much, where they're like, this game doesn't seem that bad. And that's the thing. If you're just looking at it or just playing it and you do like 3 or 4 zones, let's say you pick it up and you play it for like an hour or two, and you get through like 5 zones or something like that, and you'd be like, yeah, it's whatever. It's a mediocre dungeon crawler, but it doesn't seem that bad. But if the thing is, if you keep playing it, if you play it like an idiot like me, who's been working at it for 200 hours to go through all of it, and you realize like it never changes. It's so mind-numbingly monotonous from zone to zone. Like, it never changes, it never deviates, it never does anything different. You don't even get like cutscenes or any, you know, there's like an intro cutscene when you very first start the game, and then there's ending cutscenes, and there's like 4 different endings plus a joke ending. And that's it. Those are the only cutscenes in the game. All the rest of the you know, story, quote unquote story and everything is all just in notes or little bits of audio. Sometimes when you clear a room, there's like a TV that'll start making static, and then you'll hear characters talking to each other. And it's like, that's it. There's like nothing else. There's nothing going on in the game. Just the same shit. Over and over. The same unbalanced combat. Same shitty procedurally generated maps. Like, even if the layout is technically... Oh, I can't get hit at all for this one. God, this is such a stupid thing. Same challenges from these orbs. 99% of them are just kill the things, and the other 1% are stuff like this, where it's like, don't take damage or get combo hits. Hey, Martin Lawrence fan. Welcome to the stream. That audio glitch? Yeah, that is just the way the audio is in this game, by the way. It's not That's not like a problem because I'm playing on PSTV. That's not a problem with the stream or the capture. The same thing happens if you're playing this on a Vita.
All units, please be advised. We have a code 3. Suspect's name is Jack Merrick.
The audio just glitches out. What's happening is what I've been calling a damage glitch. Basically, this attack right here, this laser, is just kind of like a constant stream of attacks. And sometimes they glitch out and hit more often than they are supposed to. So the audio for each hit is trying to all play all at once, and it just breaks the audio. I think maybe the most accurate comparison can make is saying that the game is worse than Clock Tower Ghost Head. Genuinely believe that wholeheartedly. With some of my other comparisons, not so much. I'm not familiar with Clock Tower Ghost Head, so I can't really say for that. This game sounds worse than the first Pokemon Rescue Team. I also did not play that. So, I can't really say. Just looked up Ehrgei's Forsaken Fortress, and wow, that looks fun. It legitimately is a fun dungeon crawler. Like, it's a really fun procedural, you know, dungeon crawler on the PlayStation 1. Got interesting, like, enemies and really vast variety of weapons and abilities and skills, magic and spells, and all sorts of weird little, like, kind of unexplained things for you to discover. There's like altars that are supposed to be for sacrificing things to gods. So if you know, like, what particular things those particular gods at those altars are, like, you know, synced with, you can, like, if you know that a particular weapon goes along with a particular god at an altar, you can trade the weapon and, like, upgrade it. But it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out what gods are at what altars and what they do and what sort of things they want. It's a bit like Diablo 1, where you always really want to have, like, your town portal ready so that you can warp back to town. So that you have sort of like a town hub where you can sell stuff and trade stuff and get new skills and unlock new things. It's genuinely really good. Forsaken Fortress and Air, guys, is genuinely like really good, really fun.
For you. Spend those memories wisely now.
This not so much.
Enjoy it now.
Hey, what's up, Elsie?
You'll be back.
Hope you're doing well tonight. Oop. I got all my puzzle pieces. We're leaving. Light Guardian. This is the one that basically, as long as it doesn't corner you, it's super easy. This is one of the easier bosses to deal with. Clock Tower Ghost Head had some genuinely interesting story stuff, but it pretty much wasn't a Clock Tower game at all, and the gameplay is a major nightmare, and you can end up pretty much soft locking the game a couple of minutes in and only know an hour later. Sorry for the late response. I mean, what kind of game is it? Is it survival horror, but, you know, just not in the style of Clock Tower? Is it a fucking platformer? I don't know anything about Clock Tower Ghost Head. This is where we move, so it doesn't count. It doesn't corner us. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, just go away. Let me fucking pick up the note and move on. It's a point and click horror thingy, but it has nothing to do with any of the other Clock Tower games in any way, shape, or form. Not even a Clock Tower in it, so the name makes no sense. It's neither the plot nor the namesake are connected. Okay. I don't know, like, even with this game in terms of connection, they, like, if you're gonna do a spin-off dungeon crawler for Silent Hill, fine, whatever. That's not necessarily the worst idea in the world for, like, a spin-off game. But treat it like a fun spin-off game, and the thing to focus on here, the key word, is fun. Yes, you're always gonna get your people, your fans who are going to complain like it's not traditional Silent Hill type horror. You know, it's not that. But if it's at least like a fun spin-off game, you're not going to get as many people complaining. The same way not a lot of people complain about the Silent Hill arcade game, where it's a light gun shooter. Nobody ever really gives you know, Silent Hill the arcade a bunch of shit, because it's actually like a fun on-rail light shooter. Like, as far as House of the Dead style light shooter, you know, light gun type games are, it's fine. It's fun. It is what it what it sets out to be. It accomplishes what it sets out to be. This is not fun. This is not a good dungeon crawler. If the dungeon crawler aspect of the game was actually fun, like, yeah, it's whatever. Who cares if the story doesn't line up, if it's just a bunch of fan service with Silent Hill monsters in it. If it was Diablo, like, a lot of people jokingly will come in and see this game for like the first time and be like, so is this Diablo with Silent Hill monsters? No, because Diablo is fun. If this was literally one for one the exact same gameplay as Diablo, but with Silent Hill monsters, it would be fine. It would be fun. I like the Diablo games. I would enjoy that. If it was just actually straight up Diablo, but with Silent Hill monsters, that'd be totally fine by me. But the problem is this game is horrible. It's not Diablo. It's an absolutely horrible dungeon crawler where nothing about it is the way that it should be. The way that you would expect a dungeon crawler to be. You know? Like, I've played a bunch of dungeon crawler RPGs over the years. And there's tons of stuff about this game, like, that could have been done better. And yeah, it might not be the most unique or original thing in the world, but it would have at least been, you know, a fun game. Fun little Silent Hill spin-off game. But even super simple, basic shit is not handled correctly in this game. Enemy balance is just thrown out the window in like the worst possible way. Nothing scales the way that it should. You've got, you know, all these enemies that can just negate damage. And, you know, one of the most fun things when you think about, like, when I think about Diablo, I think about, like, okay, here's this big swarm of enemies, and if I make too many mistakes, like, I'm gonna get overrun and I'm going to die. But I've got all these spells and all these abilities and all this equipment and all this cool shit to help mitigate that, like, you know, dungeon absolutely crawling with enemies, with swarms of enemies everywhere. And you're going through and, you know, sorceress, and you're teleporting around and you're sending out thunder waves and you're freezing this group of enemies while you deal with this other group of enemies. And, like, it's fun, you know? You're dealing with it, and it's still risky. Like, if you fuck things up, you get overwhelmed and you die. But you feel a sense of satisfaction when you get, like, new abilities, new spells, new weapons, new gear. It actually, like, you can feel it. You can feel the effects of your progression. In this game, you never feel that. You never get that sense of satisfaction of, like, oh, hey, I can do this new thing now, or I have this new thing now, and it's going to make everything so much better. It's going to make my attacks so much stronger. It's going to make me be able to deal with these enemies so much better. That never happens. You never have that sense of satisfaction. Everything that I'm doing right now, I have all the best artifacts in the game. Level 70 is the level cap for your character, so my stats are all maxed out as high as they can be. Like, everything. I have the strongest weapons, best artifacts, which these are basically your armor. This is your everything that affects your stats, your dexterity, intelligence, vitality, mind. None of these stats do what you would expect them to do, by the way, other than like strength is when you hit things, and you'll hit things with melee weapons harder, but even that is not consistent. Vitality is how much health you have. But then other shit, you know, like none of this you can even look. So like, okay, here's mind. This is mind, which would in other games typically be like wisdom almost. If you're going by like Dungeons and Dragons stats, it would typically be like your wisdom, your perception, and in like RPGs, mind a lot of the time is like your curing abilities, like your healing abilities, which, okay, if they made it where like the higher your mind is, the better your light karma ability, your healing abilities are, or the better usage you get out of your first aid kits and that kind of thing. No, resistance to non-melee creature attacks, duration of karma abilities, and likelihood of creature missing player with non-melee attacks. So if, you know, the bogeyman shoots a fucking beam of darkness at you, your mind stat is what's determining if it hits you or not. Mine is as high as it can possibly be, by the way. And that attack still fucking just one-shots me anyway, so it doesn't even matter if it misses you, because it's hitting you so many times, so often, that even if the first hit misses, even if the second hit misses, it will hit you, and it will kill you in one hit. Maybe two. So what is the point of the stat? When do you ever feel like satisfied that, oh, I put some points into my stats and it made a difference? It never happens. It never feels satisfying. So yeah, it's just like none of this stuff. Nothing that you would expect from a basic, the most basic of like RPG elements, like HP. How much HP do I have? This many. You notice that I have numbers, like every time I get hit, you can see the damage numbers. Every time I hit an enemy, you can see the numbers. So obviously there's a numerical value to this. How much is it? The game won't tell you. It's just a bar. It's just a meaningless green bar with zero information. It's literally a useless graphic that tells you nothing. Experience when you're leveling up. Normally you get a lot of sense of satisfaction when you like are playing an RPG and you kill something and you're like, oh man, that monster was like 100 XP compared to these other monsters that have been giving me 20 XP. Wow, that's a lot. You know, I can't wait to level up and put some stats into strength and be able to hit more with my weapon or, you know, whatever. You never get that. Because obviously I'm at level cap, so I'm not getting experience points, but this is just a bar. It's just as useless as the health bar. You never get any numerical values, so you never know how much experience you're getting from monsters, how much experience it is to level up, how much experience you've gotten already, to the point of, you know, getting to level cap. None of it's there. It's just a literally pointless graphic that tells you nothing, gives you no information. All of your stats, the gameplay from zone to zone, if I had all of my stats set to 1, it would be nearly identical to the gameplay as it is right now. Nothing changes. They put in all these like super detailed systems where every weapon has like a different class. So like you have guns and things that are projectile. You have bats and things that are melee. You have special wild card weapons that are supposed to be like your really rare special things, like the Bogeyman's hammer or, you know, Pyramid Head's great knife. You have all these special weapon classes, And every individual weapon has different levels. So like, oh, if you use this particular weapon that you like a lot, like I always use these Princess Heart Wands because they're the strongest weapon in the game, basically. So they're already level 4. You know what the difference is between level 1 and level 4? Because if you do know what the difference is, please let me know. Because I don't fucking know. I've played this game for like 300 something hours at this point. And I still don't know. I don't notice any discernible difference between a level 1 weapon and a level 4 weapon. It does nothing. There's no sense of satisfaction of like, oh, finally, my wildcard class level 3 Princess Heart Wands became level 4. In any other dungeon crawler or RPG, you would be like this would be a satisfying moment of great, this thing finally leveled up. It makes zero difference in this game. So that's where I'm like, I can get it when people look at this game at a glance. You play it for an hour or less. You know, you watch a couple of videos or something online, and then you're like, oh, this doesn't seem that bad. But when you actually play it and start looking at it, every aspect of it, you realize like everything is wrong. Literally everything. And there's a lot of stuff that you can get wrong and it's fine. Like nobody's, at this point, this is the last fully released Silent Hill game. This came out after Downpour, after Homecoming, after the HD collection, after everything else. So even if you were to look at it and be like, oh, it doesn't get these plot elements from, you know, established Silent Hill games before it correct, that's a given. As a Silent Hill fan, you shouldn't even be expecting new Silent Hill games to, like, be faithful to the classics. So that kind of stuff can be wrong and still be forgivable if the game itself was still fun. But basic shit. Stats and what they do. Or giving the player some amount of information and distinction. Some sort of reason for getting new abilities or leveling things up. And making it actually, like, feel like you're more powerful. No sense of satisfaction. All of those basic gameplay elements are just not there. It's just bad. It's just bad. I don't know. It's impressively bad. It's shocking that it is as bad as it is. And again, this is WayForward. It's made by WayForward. They've made better dungeon crawlers. They've made better RPGs. They've made good games. Nub is here to take you back to the past to play the shitty Silent Hills that suck ass. The angry Silent Hill nerd. Yeah, pretty much. I don't like that that's what I am. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be the angry Silent Hill nerd, but that's kind of what I've become. mean, this is just what happens when you're a fan of a franchise for more than 20 years. And the last one that came out that the last Silent Hill game that came out that I legitimately enjoyed was Shattered Memories. And that was in 2009. So, you know, waiting for a new Silent Hill game, a new good Silent Hill game. Probably make just about anybody angry. That would make anybody an angry Silent Hill nerd. You enjoyed Shattered Memories so much you made it real for me? The fact that it even got you into the mindset to be scared like that, I think shows how good of a game Shattered Memories was. And our friend Crimson getting scared, jump scared by a phone. Because basically, whenever you would push like a direction on the D-pad on the Wii, we played it on launch on the Wii. We didn't play the PS2 port. So there was a button that you could push on the Wii remote where it would just pull your phone up. Because your cell phone is like a big part of Shattered Memories. It's a big mechanic thing. And our friend Crimson accidentally pressed the button to bring the phone up when they weren't expecting it. And that was enough. The tension in the game had already made them like nervous. And then the sudden like Perry Mason pulling the phone out animation scared our friend pretty good. Go away, Needler. Also, here's some fun mechanics. Look how many times I've had to hit this fucking pyramid head. This is the healthy status. Look how I'm doing no fucking damage. Literally look at his health bar, like barely moving. Isn't this a cool gameplay element? Don't you just love that in your dungeon crawlers? Isn't it super satisfying being like max level with the best gear and best weapons and everything in a game? And you still just feel like, you know, you're using a fucking wet napkin to slap monsters around. Flamethrower's not any better. And now I'm out of repair things. So this is my last Princess Heart Wand. I literally might not have enough weapon durability to kill him. even after all this, and he's just gonna heal if I don't keep damaging him. Yeah. I've used all of my weapon durability. There we go. Good thing I could combo hit him with a fucking knife. Holy shit. And now I just... Until I find a wrench, I can't fight anything because all of my weapons are like one hit away from breaking. Insanely tanky, and you can't see their health bar. You can see their health bar. It's in the bottom, in the middle, whenever you target something. So you can see like the bloated nurse down there, the green bar. So that's why I was saying like you can look at his health bar and see how little damage I was doing. Is this the finale of 500 zones? No, there's still like 40 something zones, or 36 zones. I'm not going to do 36 zones in one night. We're getting very close to the end, but we're still several Mondays away. I'm trapped in this room. I'm trapped in this room because of the fucking mission. I can't do this zone. It's a 6-piece zone, but the healthy buff that the enemies are getting and the fact that I don't have Howard early means I literally don't have the durability on my weapons to make it through that zone. So I have to completely re-roll it. So that's another fun thing about this game, especially at this point, this close to 500. Everything is scaled up in such a way that all it takes is one bad combination of enemies or challenge orbs or random buffs that the enemies get. All it takes is one bad combination of things, and you get literally unbeatable zones. Yeah, Nora. And it doesn't even take much. The only thing that zone had was that Howard, the shop, was not in the first couple of rooms, and we were getting a mission from Valtiel that locks us into rooms with pyramid heads that already have a lot of health, and they all have the healthy buff. So the combination of the Valtiel mission, the bad RNG of not getting Howard early in the zone, and that's it. And healthy, and the healthy bonus on those pyramid head rooms. That's all it takes. And that zone is now unbeatable. I will break every single one of my weapons before being able to progress into the zone far enough to get to Howard, where I can at least buy wrenches to keep from breaking my weapons. So that's all it took. No Shop, Valtiel mission that spawns Pyramid Heads, and a random healthy bonus for the enemies. And that's it. Because healthy gives them a ton of health, a ton of defense. It makes them constantly regenerate health. So it takes all of your weapon durability to kill like one Pyramid Head with healthy. And then if you have to go through 2 or 3 rooms of that, and you don't have Howard, and you don't have a bunch of extra wrenches that you find, you're just fucked. Do you know what the funniest part about this game? Sometimes see Tom Hewlett smugly replying to people that call him out on this. I haven't seen that in a pretty long while, to be fair. So this time around, we've got a 7-piece zone. So when I say 7-piece, for those who don't know, that's the size of this floor, the size of the zone. It's always going to be 5 puzzle pieces, 6 puzzle pieces, or 7 puzzle pieces that you have to collect in order to go through the exit. So 5 pieces is the smallest possible dungeon, 7 is the largest. At this point, I've got no supplies, and everything is about to break. So we've kind of gotten to a point where if we get a 7-piece zone, we just re-roll it. The maps are just literally too big that they are not worth it anymore. There's too many potential things to make the zone either take way too long to be worth it or potentially be unbeatable. And it sucks because sometimes I'll get 5 or 6 orbs deep into a 7-piece dungeon before I realize, like, oh, here's a combination of, an orb or a room or whatever that makes the zone unbeatable. So I just spent 45 minutes getting through this gigantic zone, and then it's unbeatable and you have to re-roll it anyway. So at this point of the game, I just re-roll 7 pieces as soon as I see them. And even stuff like this, even having to re-roll a bad zone would not be the worst thing in the world if not for how fucking long these loading times are. Why? This is literally like when you quit out of a zone and you're just going to the level select. It's literally just a level select menu, but it takes forever to fucking load. I don't even know why it takes this long to load in the zone itself. It's not, again, this is not like a graphically impressive Vita game. Because you think about, like, again, talking about other dungeon crawlers earlier, stuff like Binding of Isaac. Whenever you start Binding of Isaac, if you want to, like, restart and try and get a better starting location or something, you literally push a button and it's like instant. It re-rolls it. Even on Vita. Because Binding of Isaac is on PlayStation Vita. And you can just like restart and it like reloads a new zone almost instantly. .461 is just the zone that I'm going to because you need to load up an earlier zone in order to reroll. We're re-rolling to try to get a playable 463. But the first 463 was literally impossible. Second 463 was a 7-piece, and I'm not going to do 7-piece zones anymore. Well, let's see what we get this time. Five-piece. Looking for gnomes, so it's not going to be a pyramid head in every room challenge from Valtiel. So this one might actually be beatable. Now, because I don't have any supplies, we really just need Howard first. Howard is to the right of us. There he is.
Straight to business, I see. Spend those memories wisely now. Enjoy it now. Drop by anytime. We're always open.
Now let's go through. That wand is fine. That's fine.
What's your pleasure?
I have stuff to sell.
I can buy it for a decent price.
No.
Thanks for your business.
The random level design has got to be one of the dumbest mechanics in this game. You have no opportunity to plan ahead and come up with a strategy. I'm fine with that. That is just part of the roguelike or the procedurally generated dungeon crawler. I'm fine with that mechanic. If things need to be balanced, though, around things being randomized like that, and this game is just horribly, horribly imbalanced. Hey, what's up, Trina? Hope you're doing well. You're sick? I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. I'm kind of feeling like shit as well. I don't know if I'm like full on sick or if it's springtime allergy stuff and bad weather just making me feel bad, but yeah, I'm not feeling great either. But hopefully you feel better. Chill right now though, playing Valheim. Nice. Hell yeah. I was on a pretty big Valheim kick for quite a while there. Although now Ashlands is in the works. Yeah, me and Rachel and our friend Tiny Wolf, we were all about that Valheim life after Mistlands dropped. And finally got to a point where kind of slowed down on playing it again. Although then I started playing Grounded, which is a real similar survival craft type game, except it's, you know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival crafting game where you're surviving and crafting as a little kid in like a little tiny person in a backyard. And that game is so much fun. I just beat the story on my solo playthrough of Grounded. I just beat it this weekend. Have you played Project? You're the second person today to ask me about Project Zomboid. What's going on with Project Zomboid? No, I have not played it. Did it just get like an update or something? That's weird that I've like not heard anybody talk about that game. And then today, like I said, you're the second person who asked if I play it. Is Project Zomboid also a survival crafting game? Is that why? Is it comparable? Is that why people are bringing it up? Because, like, I've tried a few different horror-themed craft survival type things, and none of them really hook me. Like, I don't know. I tried 7 Days to Die, and, like, I don't know, it just didn't grasp me. I played it for a few hours, and I was just kind of like, I'm over this. It's not like Valheim or Grounded, where I start playing it, and then it's got me hooked, and I just, like, can't put it down. I tried 7 Days to Die, couldn't get into it. Sons of the Forest just came out, and I never played the first one, the original Forest, so I have it. So I went ahead and installed it and started playing the Forest, and the Forest doesn't really grasp, you know. It just doesn't capture me the same way that Valheim and Grounded did. Or even The Long Dark, which is more survival than crafting. You don't really like build and stuff, but similar survival game that I really enjoy. I like The Long Dark a lot. I like Grounded. I like Valheim.
Go there a lot too.
But yeah, 7 Days, couldn't get into it. The Forest, couldn't get into it. Maybe Project Zomboid is better than those, but
Looks like you're cutting straight
yeah,
to business, I see.
the horror-themed survival stuff is just not as good,
Spend
in my
those
opinion.
memories wisely now. Don't you waste. See you again.
At least from the ones that I've tried. Been considering playing Valheim. It does look a bit more chill, kind of like Skyrim. I mean, it's definitely more chill. Because, you know, Skyrim is just a different game altogether, you know? Where you have kind of your particular quests and goals and things. Valheim is very much like make your own goals and just progress. Because you can try to go and kill all the bosses, or you can just sit around and like build stuff and craft things and explore. Valheim's a lot more just kind of fuck around and do what you want. There's less direction compared to games like Elder Scrolls, things like that. It's a lot more open.
Girls are dumb.
Don't seem dumb.
Zomboid is not a horror game, but it turns into one when 200 Zeds decide to have a party on your base. That's why I said horror themed. Even like survival horror games, a lot of people are going to argue whether or not they are horror, but horror themed. It, you know, like Valheim is Viking themed. You're going through and you're fighting mostly like creatures, you know. It's natural predators for the most part. It's wolves and mythological beasts like trolls and things. There are some fucking horrors in the Mistlands, yes, but the point I'm trying to make is Project Zomboid is a survival horror game with zombies. If it's like 7 Days to Die or something like that, where it has zombies or skeletons or monsters of some sort, whether or not it's actually scary or whether or not you would call it a horror game is irrelevant. It is a horror themed game. It is using horror creatures as its setting. Like Plants vs. Zombies. Wouldn't call it a horror game, but it is a horror themed game. It literally has monster plants and zombies in it. So Project Zomboid, even if it's not scary, even if you wouldn't call it a horror game, it's got zombies in it. Presumably. I haven't played it. I'm guessing based on the title. But it's a horror-themed survival game. You can sort of do that in Skyrim too, but yeah, lots of quests in Elder Scrolls games. The thing is, like, even in Skyrim, if you're just going to focus on kind of wandering around and not going after the main story, eventually an NPC is going to walk up to you and have a conversation with you, and suddenly you've started a quest. Eventually you're going to wind up in a town or a village or find a wandering person on the road, and then suddenly you have a quest, you have direction. Valheim, it is you. It is you in the world. There's almost no other NPCs. There's no towns. There's no villages, unless you count like Draugr villages, you know. It's a bunch of zombie things for you to go and kill. But you're not just gonna like run into somebody who gives you a quest. Like you're not gonna run into somebody who impedes what you're trying to like do and suddenly give you like direction. And it's a lot more isolated as far as like an open game. Saw a Gyoll for the first time. Yeah, Gyolls are fun. There's a lot of fun shit in the Mistlands. And it's a pain in the ass trying to build bases and stuff out in the Mistlands. Which of course you have to do if you want to like effectively farm all the new plants and everything else. Sort of like the plains. How once you get to the plains, you have to build a plains base so that you can grow barley and flax, since those won't grow in anywhere but the plains biome. So you have all the like new mushroom things that only grow in the Mistlands. So it's like, oh, okay, so you got to make a fucking farm out in the Mistlands. Meanwhile, you have Gyolls attacking and Seekers and all sorts of horrible shit. It's fun. Valheim is such a solid game. I honestly cannot wait for that game's full release. Like it's so much fun and there's so much to it, and it's still in early access. They still have like 3 other biomes to make.
Let's step right up.
They're working on Ashlands, and then there's the Far North, and
I've got just the thing.
one other that they planned on making, and then they still want to update a lot of existing biomes and stuff.
Now don't you wait. Thanks.
Is Valheim enjoyable solo? Oh, absolutely. I played most of my Valheim hours solo. I think I've got close to 600 hours, something like that, in Valheim. And a vast majority of my hours in Valheim are solo. Like, probably around like 150 hours out of that are multiplayer. And even when I'm playing multiplayer, like on a server with Rachel and our friends and stuff, most of the time we're just kind of doing our own thing anyway. Like, the multiplayer aspect is nice because, like, I would go out and cut trees for, you know, an hour and then come back and see that, like, oh, Rachel dropped off a bunch of materials and things that she found while she was out running around and exploring. And, like, I won't even see her. She'll be out and exploring and doing her own thing, and then come back and drop a bunch of shit off at our base and then go off and explore again. I'll come back from cutting down trees, come back to like build and expand our base and shit like that, and just be like, oh, here's a bunch of new stuff. So that'll give me new things to build and new things to cook, new things to farm. Because I like doing the building and farming and crafting aspect. And then, you know, I'll go out and go do something else and come back. There's new shit there. So a lot of times we would just still be on our own, even when we were on a multiplayer server. But yeah, even playing completely on a completely solo game of Valheim, it is a lot of fun. I still highly recommend it. I think I'll definitely play it when it comes out now. You have inspired me. Even in its current state, like playing Valheim now in early access, I think is worth it. For an early access game, it has so much fucking content. Oh, Pyramid Head, you're so annoying. Just die. Don't summon things. Thank you. From what I've seen so far, it does look impressive. Valheim's really fucking cool. One of those games you have to play to appreciate. Oh yeah, like as far as graphics go, yeah, Valheim, I mean, it does like have that very particular style, the sort of pixel art. Not really pixel art, it's 3D models, but the textures and stuff are sort of pixel art. But the lighting and a lot of the extra details in the effects and things, the way it's stylized, it's a really beautiful game. Like, obviously it's not trying for a realistic look, but the style that it does go for, it fucking nails it. And honestly, even with kind of the simple, more simple pixely texture graphics of Valheim, it's really impressive how small the game size is.
Something I can take off your hands? It's a deal. Thank you.
Let me see. I don't think I have Steam open right now, but I just want to check. I kind of wanted to see what my total hours were on Valheim as well. Not to mention, thinking about fun other games is definitely good. Instead of
Got in
paying
some
too much
new
attention to
stock
this
that's
piece of
about
shit.
full speed.
Yeah. The entire game with all of its updates and everything, Valheim is 1.3 gigs.
Take your time.
That's it. It's
I'll still
barely
be
over a
here.
gig. And it looks awesome and it has tons of content. Easily hundreds and hundreds of hours of stuff to do. And yeah, I've got 573 hours in Valheim.
Got in some new stock that's
And I
about
still
full
haven't come
speed.
close to doing everything there is to do in that game. And it's still early access. They literally just started working on the next biome. So that'll probably be like next year. When Ashlands comes out. Oops. You can just go up from here. My biggest concern is whether my laptop could handle it, but if it's that small, it might not be an issue. Nah, your laptop should most likely. I don't know what kind of laptop you've got, but I was playing it on like kind of an old laptop at one point, and you might have to bump down a few of the settings, but yeah. Most likely you can get it working and running decently. It's pretty well optimized at this point. Again, for being an early access game, it's impressive how much the devs have already done with it. Four-year-old Asus laptop? Yeah. You might have to bump down like some draw distance and some of the lighting and shadow effects, but you should be able to play it no problem. Been looking for a new sandbox to play in? Yeah, Valheim's great for that. Because a lot of times I would just be in a different mood to do different things. So sometimes I'd be like, hey, I just want to run around and adventure. And I could load into my world and grab up all my adventuring gear and just go run out and explore the map. The map, by the way, is massive. It's procedurally generated whenever you make a world, so you never get like the same world twice. But it works on a seed system, so if you get a particular world that you like, you can always plug in the same seed and exactly recreate it. But yeah, you just have like a giant world to go out and explore. So sometimes I would do that. Go make myself a boat, go out on the water and just sail around, look for random islands and continents and run around and explore them. Sometimes I would build. Most of the time I would build and craft. So I would just like jump on and be like, hey, today I want to try and make this. And start fucking around and building different things. And you really have a lot you can do with the building in that game. Right now, because we just now started like playing less Valheim, pretty much like a month or two ago. We were paying for our server host. We just put that, on hold and stopped paying it. Otherwise, I would load up Valheim and show you guys my most recent stuff that I built on our mine and Rachel's server with our friend Tiny Wolf. Basically, if you've ever seen The Lord of the Rings, when they're going to Rohan and they go to Edoras, and you have like the Golden Hall up on top of the side of the like super steep hill, and all the buildings sort of going down that side of the trail, down the side of the hill that makes up Edoras in Lord of the Rings. I recreated that. I built the Golden Hall. I built a bunch of houses and things that wound up being like our crafting area, our kitchen, our portal hub, our houses and stuff to sleep in. I built a giant wall. I built boat docks directly outside the giant wall. So I'll have to pull all that up whenever we activate our server again and show it, because I started working on it on stream. When I very, very first started that, like when we first started the server, I started working on it, but then I only streamed it a couple of times, and then it just kind of became like my, personal off-stream game to play, and I didn't really stream it too much more after that. So a lot of people knew about that project when I started it, but didn't get to see when it was done. And it's done. So I like recreated this whole village town thing from Lord of the Rings in Valheim. And that's just like our main base. Because then I also built a farm in the plains and a farm in the Mistlands and like all of our other stuff that we needed. Valheim's cool. I like Valheim. It's an awesome game. All right. That's probably all the book of memories for today. Thanks for talking to me about Valheim the whole time. Definitely easier to get through these zones without, having my brain have to focus on it. Giving me good games to think about helps immensely with getting through this game at this point. Yeah, thank you, Trina. Hurry up, Trent. I just want the zone to load so I can quit out. Make sure the save file works the way that it should. Hey, Vinny. Hi, Vinny. 7-piece zone, so it was a zone that we're going to need to re-roll next Monday anyway. Oh my god, Vinny, get out of my lap. You cannot be up here right now. I know. Here, sit in the chair. Sit in this chair. And sit over there. Trying to offer my cat places to lay down, and they just want to sit in my lap. Vinny, you are going to be so difficult. But yeah, that's going to be it for Book of Monday.